Hi everyone, my name is Nikki and I'm coming to you from Johannesburg, South Africa. I've been living here for the last 3.5 years where I worked with Impact Africa, serving the people here in Johannesburg. We work in the informal settlements where a lot of people are living as they've come to Joburg to try to find a job. We do 5 main areas of ministry. First of all, we host a lot of short-term teams so people can come over, experience ministry, and learn how to share their faith. We also host an internship. So this is a 3-month, 6-month, or 1-year program where people who are thinking of and interested in missions can come and experience what life is like on the field. We also have 4 preschools across 4 communities where we're educating over 400 children every day. Then we also have a high school ministry where we're working in the local government high schools, teaching them about life choices, introducing the gospel to them, and ultimately hoping that they'll make the decision to follow Jesus. Now, what I do is I oversee our Impact Baby Rescue. We work in communities all across Johannesburg where we're helping moms. We're helping moms make the best choices for their babies. Oftentimes a woman will fall pregnant here and then is made to leave her house. Her husband will leave her, her boyfriend will leave. What we want to do is we want these women to know that they have options and they have choices. We don't like seeing babies abandoned or dumped, and we want moms to be loved on as well. So we do it in kind of 2 different areas. First of all, we work in the local clinics and hospitals, telling people about our services and who we are. We also speak out against baby abandonment and abortion. And then the other part of it is that we run a baby home. At the baby home, we take care of babies from the moment they're abandoned or signed over for adoption all the way up until the day they're placed in their new family's arms. I love what I get to do, and we work so hard to make sure that moms and babies here in Johannesburg are taken care of and loved on. Now, I got some really great questions from the kids in your church, and so I want to take time and explain them because a lot of them will even help explain what I do. So the first question is, why do you do this job? From Nathan. Nathan, that's such a good question, and I really had to think about it as I was kind of thinking through your questions and thinking about my answer. I do this job, first of all, because God told me to. And one of the things I always say is obedience is the most important thing you can ever do in your relationship with the Lord. And so when God told me, hey, you gotta leave your family, you gotta leave behind what you know, and you need to move to a country that's completely different and foreign to you, I had to listen and obey. But why do I do this job? That was something I had to think about. I think I do this job because there is a whole generation of people who don't have a voice. Babies can't speak up for themselves. Moms feel desperate, and when you're told as a person that you don't matter and what you're going through doesn't matter, that's wrong, and it hurts God's heart. I really believe that it hurts God's heart. And so I do this because I believe that babies need to have a voice and these moms need to know they're loved. Because Jesus said, if you love me, you're gonna love the people around you. That's how people are gonna know you're my disciples. And one of the greatest commandments given to Moses and the Israelites was, love your neighbor, love the Lord your God, and love each other. So in order to love people well, then they need to know they have options, and these moms need to know that they are loved. So the second question kind of goes along with that, and it's why take care of babies, and that's from Addison. And I think babies, to me, a baby is helpless, and we all started out as a baby. Every single one of us needed our moms to feed us, to take care of us, to change our diapers, everything. A baby can't do anything on their own. And so I think about a baby who's kind of left alone and doesn't have anyone to take care of it. And I think of someone needs to be the person to step in for that baby. And so for me, because a baby's helpless and they don't have a voice, I want to give them a voice, and I want people to know who they are and how much God's going to use that child. Also, because we all started as babies, every single one of us, who knows what that baby can be? Each baby has the potential to be something great, like a doctor or a teacher or another missionary. So I look at a baby as a new beginning, as the beginning of something really cool, and who knows what God's gonna do. And if God created that life, because he did create every single life, then God has a great purpose and intention for that baby. So I think that's why take care of babies, because we're supposed to, because that's what God wants us to do, is to care for life. The third question is, explain how the box works, from Addison. That's a really good question, Addison. So what she's talking about is our baby box. We have 3 baby safes throughout this city. And those baby safes are an anonymous place for a mom who's thinking of abandoning her baby to be able to take the baby and leave it. Now, once the baby is placed in a box, there's an alarm that goes off in the building that's near that box. And so that allows the person who's staying in that house to know, hey, there's a baby in the box. Then what happens is the outside of the box locks. So once the door is shut, no one can open it again from the outside, and the baby is safely inside. What we do is my staff will open it from the inside of the house and receive the baby. Once we've received a baby, we take them to the hospital. We want to make sure they're healthy. We want to make sure that everything's okay. So we take them to the hospital, and then we go to the police and we talk to them and we say we found a baby, and we fill out lots of forms. Then we notify an adoption agency, and they begin to work on getting that baby placed in a home where they'll be safe until they're adopted. So the box basically is just a way for us to safely take care of babies. Also, so mom doesn't feel ashamed for what she's doing. Because again, like I said, these women are desperate. They don't have anyone to take care of them. They don't know how they're gonna feed themselves or this baby. And so for them to be able to safely leave their baby somewhere and know that they're gonna be taken care of, that's so important to me. So the box really is a way for us to love on these moms as well as these babies. The fourth question is the average age of adoption, and that's from Ellen. So that one can be tough. It kind of depends on each baby's story, and did mom sign them over, or were they found in a safe box like ours? There are lots of safe boxes like this all over the city, and so it really just depends on how they got started and how much family's involved. So one thing that is really important to South Africans is that these babies, we try to find biological family for them to stay with, whether that's grandma and grandpa or an aunt or an uncle, or even cousins, in whatever the capacity is, whoever it is, it's really important. So it just depends on the baby's story. So a baby can be adopted anywhere from 6 months old to 2 years old. So those are kind of the average age between those two. So it's really hard to tell. We always hope that it'll go fast, but sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. But yeah, on average it's between 6 months old and 2 years old, which is a pretty big gap. Number 5, my question is, are there other missionaries? And that's from Ryan. Good question, Ryan. I'm not out here doing this all on my own. I actually work with an amazing team. Impact Africa has about 12 American missionaries. We all work together to do all the things here in South Africa that we're doing, all the different programs we run. But for my department specifically, what I do right now, I'm the only missionary that works in my department. However, I'm surrounded by a staff of 8 women who love babies and love mamas. And so I have 8 women who are South African women who help me work in the communities, who help me take care of the babies. And then as a whole, Impact Africa has over 50 South African staff members. So that's something that's really important to us, is we want to raise up local leadership, because it doesn't all depend on me. It doesn't all depend on my American coworkers. It depends on South Africans helping and ministering to other South Africans. Number 6 is from Bentley. He asked, how old are you? That's a very personal question, Bentley. But I'm probably the same age as your mom, or close to it. I'm actually 34 years old. Pretty straightforward. You're lucky that I answered that one, kiddo. Number 7, how safe are you in Africa? This is a good question. We're pretty safe. I stay in a safe neighborhood. There is a lot of crime here in Joburg, but again, I stay in a safe neighborhood, and you learn how to be really smart about stuff. You learn that you always lock your car and check the locks. You learn that you lock your house up, you close your windows, all that kind of stuff. You learn that you don't go out too late at night because it's just not super safe. But here where I'm at, where I'm staying, I'm pretty safe. Question number 8. So some of these next ones are some fun questions. So I kind of wanted to wait and share them at the end. So number 8, Wi-Fi, from Jonathan. I think you're asking, do we have Wi-Fi? And the answer is yes, we have Wi-Fi. It may not work as well or as fast as the Wi-Fi in the States, but we do have it. So rest assured, I can watch Netflix if I want to. Slowly, but I can watch it. Number 9, how do you get back and forth, from Mikey? Well, if you're asking about how I get back and forth from the States, we ride a plane. But how do I get back and forth to work? I have a car. I drive a car here. It is a little different because everything we drive on the left side of the road. So my steering wheel is on the right side of my car. So it is a little bit different, but I do drive a car. Number 10, what's the most disgusting food or candy you've eaten? From Hunter. That's a really good question. In fact, I have a very good answer for you. There's something here called a mopani worm. It's disgusting. It's a caterpillar. They basically dry it, and sometimes they'll season it. It tastes like burnt grass, is the only way I know how to describe it. My friend that had it, that gave it to me, said, no, it's really good, you're gonna love it. And I put it in my mouth, and it was like dry flakes got stuck in. It was really gross. It's really disgusting. So if you ever come visit, I'll make you eat one, Hunter. Number 11 kind of goes with this, along with this. What's the best and worst drink? From Declan. The best drink, I would say, and I think everyone can agree with me, is coffee. I think that's a worldwide thing. Ask your mom and dad. Hopefully they drink coffee. And I still drink lots of coffee here. Worst drink, I don't know about that one. I would have to say probably cream soda. So you think of cream soda in the States, it's clear, it tastes vanilla-y, it's cream soda, like we know it. Here it's green and doesn't taste like vanilla cream soda. It's just really, really sweet. I wish I would have gotten a bottle so I could show it to you. So I'd say that's probably my worst drink. Sorry, I don't have one that's grosser, but that's basically it. And number 12, what animals have you seen? From Grant. Well, I've seen a lot of animals. All of our wild animals actually don't just roam about here. And when we think of it, and because I think we see videos on like National Geographic, and there's safari videos and animal, you have giraffes and buffalo just roaming about freely. That's not how it works. Actually, all those kinds of animals are in animal reserves here in South Africa, actually across the entire continent of Africa. And a lot of that is to protect them from poaching. It also makes sure that they're able to just monitor them closely. But every time we have a team come visit us, or even just on a fun off day, we can go and we can drive through what we call a game park. And so in those game parks, I've seen lions and leopards and giraffes and zebras and buffalo and all sorts of African warthogs. Warthogs are actually kind of cool to see. So we've seen lots of animals in there, but out here, just kind of in the wild, you don't see much. We have lots of birds, a lot of birds, some ground squirrels, but you're not really gonna see anything, kind of where you're from, at least in Michigan, I know. You'll see a lot of deer, you have raccoons and possum. We don't have that kind of stuff here, mainly because we're in the middle of the city. And so that kind of doesn't allow us to see a whole lot. And then the last question I do want to answer, because it's such a good one and I never thought about this, but why don't you name the babies instead of just giving them an initial or a letter? So the example was, like you would call them baby C instead of Colleen. We actually do name the babies. They have full names. But here's the thing, because we work basically in a foster care system, I'm not allowed to share their names. And a lot of this is to protect the baby's identity as well as the mom's identity. I'm not even allowed to show full-face pictures of our babies that we receive, or our babies staying in the baby home. We have to protect their information, and we have to be really careful about it, because someone could just show up at our baby house and say, hey, that baby is my baby, I know who it is, and we can't have that happening. So they actually do have full names, but I'm only allowed to share their initial. Because what it does is it protects that baby. And really, like, what's so important to me is protecting those babies, because I want to make sure they have the best future possible. And if that means I only get to share the first letter of their name, then that's what I'm gonna do. But that's such a good question. I'm glad someone asked. I never actually had explained that before. And so I'm glad you brought it up. So now you know, they do have full names. They even have last names, I promise. I'm just not allowed to share that information. So, to end out with you guys, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being a church that has supported me and continue to support me. Your missions team, your giving team is so great. They send me cards on every holiday. They sent my husband a birthday card. Like, that's amazing to me. Thank you for continuing just to check in on me, for praying for me. It's really important. If you, as a person in the congregation, are hearing about me for the first time, didn't even know I exist, well, congratulations, now you know about me. But beyond that, you can follow me on social media. On Facebook, I'm Nikki Parrish Stonall. And I'm also on Instagram under Nikki Nono. If you want to know where that comes from, just shoot me an email. If you want to sign up for my newsletter, contact me on Facebook, or you can even ask Martha Hanley, and she'll be able to get your email address to me, and then we'll be able to make sure that you get added onto my newsletter list, where I send out letters every 2 months sharing about what's happening here. You get to see some fun pictures, and you get more videos of me. How lucky are you? So again, thank you so much for just taking the time to listen. And if you have more questions, send them on through. I love answering fun questions from people. I live in a different country, and so people want to know about it. But anyways, thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your service.